So first we're going to start with the example 3G from your lesson yesterday. So first of all, that dot that's in between the two, that means multiplication. Okay, sometimes you see it like this. Sometimes you see different books, different programs, they use different things. So use dot, sometimes they use the multiplication, sometimes they even use the star. They all mean multiplication. And sometimes they don't use anything. All right, so where would you start here? What's the first thing that you want to do to simplify this? The brackets, what does that mean? What do you mean by the brackets? There's two of them. Distribute your square in. Inside my bracket here, there is nothing I can simplify, right? Inside my second bracket, there is nothing I can simplify, right? Because there's no common terms. So what I can do here, because I have this 2, I put that 2 in, right, first. Right? So that becomes 5 squared x to the power of 4, y to the power of 4. Right? And then multiplied by 5 to the power of negative 2, x to the power of negative 6, and y. So you see that I don't have to worry about the negatives until the end. If my answer at the end has a negative, then I would do it. But if, for example, eyes on me for a second, if that exponent was a negative exponent, that 2 that you see right there, if that was a negative, then you want to flip first, okay? It probably makes a little bit more sense if you do that, okay? Now, after you do that, what would you want to do? So you look at the like terms, right? So the ones that have the same base, right? So 5 to the power of 2 times 5 to the power of negative 2. What would that give you? 5 to the power of 0, right? Because what I'm doing is I'm adding the exponent. 2 plus minus 2. I'm going to show you the step, okay? 2 plus minus 2 is basically 0, right? But I'm going to show you the steps. What would I do with the other terms? So x. Okay, 4. So x to the power of 4 plus minus 6. And then for the y, what do I do with the y? Four plus 1, because there is a 1 here. Okay, so I'm showing you this step. This step, technically, you don't have to write. I'm just showing it to you so you know what's happening. Are you guys okay with this? Yeah. So what's 2 plus minus 2? 0. So that's 5 to the power of 0. How about x? X to the power of negative 2. How about y? Y to the power of 5. Now, this is where the answer where I don't want to leave any negative exponent. Okay? So 5 to the power of 0 is 1. So I can just write 1 for this. x2 is going to have to come to the denominator because it's a negative exponent, so it comes to the denominator. And then y5 stay on the top. So technically, your final answer is y to the power of 5 over x to the power of 2. Are we okay with that?
But what if you add 1? Is it the same thing?
It's 1 times, right?
Okay, well,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
It doesn't matter. One apple, an apple, it's the same idea. Are we okay with that? So this is the example 3. How about example 4? Did you guys do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, example 3H. H. All right. So, no questions? No other questions from the homework?
We did a H
Do you want me to take it up?
Yeah.
what would you want to do first? Distribute the exponent, and in this case, it's going to only go to the numerator, right? Okay. So that's going to be 9 to the power of 2x, y, 10. 2 times 5. We're multiplying, right? And then for the bottom, I can leave it as is. 3 cubed, x 6, y 14. Okay, now what would you want to do? Simplify. And how would you simplify? Okay, so what would simplify here? Okay, so you want to write this as 81. Okay. And then we're going to, so that's going to be 81, x to the power of 4, y to the power of 10, over 27, x to the power of 6, y to the power of 14. Okay, that's a good way to do it. Okay, good morning. Then, so I can simplify. Okay, what would my 81 and 27, what do they all divide by?
3.
They all divide by 3. Can they all be divided by 9?
No, 27 is one time, and for 81 is 3 times.
Okay, so that means you can divide both by 27, no?
Yeah.
Okay. So 81 over 27, they're all divided by 27, and that gives you 3, that gives you 1. All right. How about the x's?
4 minus 6.
Okay, how about the y?
10 minus 14.
Okay, so that gives me 3, x negative 2, y negative 4. So we said if something has an exponent of a negative exponent, where do we take it? If it's in the numerator, where does it go? To the denominator. And if it's in the denominator, where does it go? Numerator. So in this case, I'm going to have to bring these down to my denominator. How about the 3? Keep it up, right? 3 has to stay in the numerator, and then you bring the other 2 to the denominator with a positive exponent. Would you have done it in a different way, Maurice?
I just took the reciprocal of the x and the y as well.
So, okay, so same idea. But would you have done the 9 in a different way? I personally would have done it in a bit different way. Okay, which is, this way is correct. So the other way could be that instead of writing 9, I would write this as a 3 to the power of 2, right? Because 9 is 3 to the power of 2. So 3 to the power of 2 to the power of 2, right? Which gives me 3 to the power of 4. So you'll see that instead of having 9 to the power of 2, I'll have 3 to the power of 4. And this is 3 to the power of 3. So I kept it the same base. So this way I can just subtract my exponent. So 4 take away 3, that gives me 1. That leaves me with a 3.
Sorry. So when the coefficient is the same thing, you just deal with the exponent.
Yes. Right? So, I mean, I personally, if I'm going to do it properly, if I'm going to do it following exponent law, I would do it that way. But this is also acceptable, right? You can, I will accept that for sure. Okay? But that would be me. And this is probably the more exponent law way, right? But again, don't worry about this. For you guys, it's I'm okay with either. All right. Are we good? Any other questions? All right, so we are going to go over our second lesson, okay? So we're going to talk about exponential, characteristic of exponential relations. So can you guys grab a piece of paper? There's lots of like papers at the back if you guys want some. Just grab a piece of paper for me. I'm actually going to stop this video and then start a new one.